over me. She's over me. She comes on with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and these are the Night Terrors. And I hope you're ready for another fun-filled evening of ghostly encounters and face-to-face encounters with ghosts and spirits and hauntings and so much more. But hope you had a great day. Thank you all for being here with me and being a part of what I'm doing. It's always a rare pleasure to have you guys here, and I really appreciate your time and your dedication and your continued love and support. It truly means the world, and I know that it just warms me up inside like you wouldn't believe. So that's all I'm going to say. This is a family show. I'm just being a jerk. Sorry, I can go full stupid, as you know, so it happens at the drop of a hat. I never know exactly when that's going to be, but just mind yourself. It can get stupid in here in a hurry. So anyway, throughout the course of our journey tonight, the phone lines will be open. If you've got something paranormal you'd like to share, I'd love to talk to you. Simply call in on the Paranormal Portal hotline, and the number for the hotline is 720-923-0500. 720-923-0500. That's the numbers for fun right here on the portal. I'll be watching to see if anybody's calling in. If you've got something to share, I'll be happy to hear from you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like, if you want to call in, you've got some paranormal experience. It doesn't have to be ghostly related. It could be Bigfoot. It could be UFOs, whatever. I mean, that table is always wide open for you guys to contribute. I just, on these shorter format shows, just like to stick with the ghost stories and the ghost encounters. But if you have something that is something else, then by all means, call in. We can always shift gears. That's okay. I'm dynamic just like that. So I don't have to be a monotheistic approach to the show. It can be whatever we want it to be, because it's my show, and I got the microphone and the controls, so I can be whatever I want it to be. So anyway, hope you guys are doing great. You can call in. You can also email in if you've got stories, but you don't want to call in. You don't want to do that. It kind of freaks you out or whatever. That's fine. You can email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and we can talk that way as well. Or if you want to record your story, I can certainly read it on your behalf. That's fine. I do read, fully literate as far as I know. So, I'm happy to do that for you as well. If you just want to share what you've been through. And here's the thing with sharing your experiences, sometimes it can really go a long ways into emboldening others to come forward with their stories. And, the one cool thing about this is I keep hearing from people, it feels so good to finally talk about it. Like, people have been carrying these things for their whole lives, just bottled up, pent up, and it's just sitting there, ulcerating within themselves. And I keep hearing what an amazing cathartic experience it is to share. So, and that's not me trying to talk you into it. Do whatever you want. But if you'd love to share, I'd love to hear from you. And we can talk about it. But it's certainly my all-time favorite part of the show, is because I learn a lot from what you guys have seen and experienced. I really do. So it teaches me a whole bunch about the phenomena as well. So without further ado, I think that's all I got on the front end here. So thank you to everybody that's coming in, and all of those of you that will yet come in. But I'm just going to get the gear rolling here. So hope you're all ready, because it's time for bed. Now we're underway. Now it's official. We are all set to go here, so I hope you're ready for some wild, incredible paranormal entertainment, because that's what I'm planning on bringing you. And if I'm doing my job, that's exactly what you get. If not, then realize you got what you paid for. It still cracks me up even after all these years saying that same line. I'm easily amused. But anyway, let's get going here. First story tonight is coming from Virginia, and it's family and friends visits. So these are usually pretty cool. Family friends visits are oftentimes really cool because they deal with people being greeted by those that have gone to the next world or the next life. And they kind of come back and say hi. So I always love these stories because I got a few experiences of this of my own. So I think this is very powerful and incredibly healing as well. So let's see what this one says. Not a very long story. It says, on July 26th of 2008, my mom was dying from stage 4 congestive heart failure. Well, I was standing at the foot of her hospital bed, and she looked over at me into a mirror and said, who are those people? And I said, what people? As I turned to look. And she said, there is 2 women and 1 man. I said, what are they doing? And she said that they're talking. And I told her maybe it was her guardian angels there to watch over her. Well, the phone rang and she told my aunt that she had seen her angels and that they were there for her and that she was ready. Well, after she passed August 6th, 2008, I cleaned her house out and took that mirror and hung it beside my bed. Around the September of the 5th, I'd say, I took a picture of that mirror and my mama's side view showed up in the mirror, and I believe that her angels did come and that my mom sent this to me as a sign that she's okay. It has been comforting for me to have had this picture because it tells me that she really is an angel and that she's watching over me. She died 7 times in 1991, and I saw the light, but returned home to me. This time she had to die twice for her pacemaker kicked her back to life after she was dead for 5 minutes. Please let me know what you think of the picture. All comments are welcome. And there is a picture. Let me just pull it up and see what we can see. I'm not really seeing anything at all. I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see. You guys can tell me if you're seeing anything in this picture, but I'm curiously enough not. I'm not really seeing anything that I think is perhaps paranormal. But let's see what you guys think. Here's the photo. I guess I can go full screen on this. See what you guys think. Do you guys see anything in that picture that looks, unless she's talking about this halo, about this circular halo? I don't know. Huh. Well, that could be it. And if it is, sure, I guess that could be. It is a strange, but I don't know. I hate to debunk these kind of pictures because they are beautiful and they do give people a really awesome feeling of being loved and watched over. But there is a hot spot here from the flash, and that would be a refractive point because this mirror is beveled. So this would refract at an angle and may very well have created a circular lens flare that would reflect back on the walls and therefore be captured back in that mirror. So it's not as if there's no possible explanation. There may be, but it may be legit as well because, I do believe that our loved ones are with us. I believe they look after us and look over us. So, but there is a hot spot here that could definitely account for a circular halo kind of lens flare to appear from that mirror. But leave it up to you guys to decide what you think. I'm not saying it couldn't be. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying there is a possible explanation, and I don't think you can throw that out just because you want to believe something. So that's my opinion, and I don't really have a solid opinion. I'm just saying it could be paranormal. It could just be mundane, but beautiful nonetheless, I think, because what's the harm in believing that someone that loved you is watching over you? I think that nothing. It's a beautiful thing. And I certainly wouldn't want to be the one to take that away from somebody. So it's awesome. I mean, it is a curious lens flare, I got to say. I haven't seen I don't recall ever seeing another that was a halo like this, so that is unique. But the mirror is kind of unique as well with that beveled edge, so, and being oval shaped. So curious enough, and it could just be the lens reflecting off of that beveled shape, the whole frame, and shooting that lens flare back at the walls behind her. But either way, very cool. I'm glad she had the experience. I'm glad that she believes that it means somebody's looking over her and loves her. Yeah, what do you do? So that's the first story tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're off and running. See, more of you are coming in. Great to see you. My friend told me some incredible stories she has about getting signs from bird. What? Getting signs from bird? Well, when people are about to die. Oh, okay. So she gets like messages from birds. Everyone impaling itself on the hood ornament. And I'll call this weekend to share. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to hearing that. Kylie, thank you for that. That's weird. The birds dive into the hood ornament. She knows someone's going to die. Is what I'm taking this to mean. It sounds like she knows someone's going to die when a bird impales itself on her hood ornament of her car. Yikes! It's not a good hood ornament. I want to just go with the sticker instead of the ninja star they have mounted up there or whatever it is. Wow. Okay, that's just me being funny. Sorry. I don't know the whole situation, but I'm looking forward to hearing it. Geez, Brent, time to put the specs on, bro. What do you mean, Nessie? What are you trying to say? I see just fine. No, it's my eyes are irritated. And unfortunately, I do have glasses, but my glasses I just use to drive, and it's just to read signs. I got a weird situation with my eyes in that they're not bad enough to need to read for the most part, but my eyes also get irritated after a full day, and they get really burning and itchy, and then it, like, I don't know. I'm sure there's probably a fix for it, but I'm just not one to to run and get something to fix everything. I don't know. I squint, yeah, but what do you do? But really, I can read it just fine if I just relax, but it's just such a reflex for me to just go like that. Even though if I just relax my eyes, I can read everything you guys are writing in the chat right now, which is the same font size as the stories I'm reading you. But it's just kind of a reflex more than anything. But they're not quite bad enough to need them for reading, but they're not perfect either. And I have different vision in either eye because I was shot in the right eye with a BB when I was young. So my vision is really kind of goofy. But I don't know. That's just me. I don't want to wear glasses all the time. Excuse me, I didn't mean to suck on my bottle. Get that plastic snapping into the microphone. You know, that's quality entertainment, folks. All right, the next one's from Louisiana. Oh, I got a call. It's from Australia. Hello, Australia. Who am I talking to, eh?
How you doing, Aussie Tiger, mate?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not too bad. I would have called sooner about this experience, but I just haven't been able to catch it live fully when I'm not doing something.
Okay. Well, tell me what's going on.
The weekend just gone. It was a hot day. I went swimming, and I actually experienced some deja vu with the location I was at. But at the same time, I almost drowned there.
Oh, geez.
But it was just a weird way it all happened.
Okay.
Like, I was swimming along. It's like, can't reach the bottom. Oh, I'll keep going. No, so then I stop again. It's like, still can't feel it. So I start swimming again. But all of a sudden, it felt like something just squeezed around my chest.
Oh.
And I just could not breathe. And I probably went under a couple of times. And I was like, that's it. Where's the nearest bank? That'll do. Try over there. As I sat there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is deja vu. Like I've experienced it before, but I know I haven't.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. It's like,
do you
probably bar the drowning part of experience. I was like, I've been to this place before, swimming here before.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I don't think But I think with the deja vu, I think last time I don't think I almost drowned.
Well, yeah, you'd think that'd be something you definitely remember. But now, do you know of any stories of anybody drowning in that area?
Not that I'm aware of, but if someone did, then I'm not surprised.
Well, here's the thing that's, and it's just an idea, right? Like I just sometimes get things popping in my head and I'm just going to share it with you because maybe it'll make sense to you. But you find that you're a bit sensitive anyway, don't you?
A bit sensitive,
Right.
not fully sensitive to the point where, oh yeah, I can feel a presence here. No, I'm not that sensitive.
Sure. But my
If
point,
there's a presence here, it's like,
what I'm,
it's just playing hide and seek on me.
well, yeah, what I'm thinking is it possible that if somebody did drown there, there'd be a huge psychic imprint from that trauma and that fear and all of that? And is it possible that you simply absorb that experience, that you were able to experience what that person felt? And I'm not saying that's it for sure. God only knows, but it's what popped into my head.
I'm sure at the time that I went through that exact spot and now experiencing, and all of a sudden I'm experiencing it type thing.
Right. That's what I'm wondering if it could be something like that, where you are already empathic or sensitive anyway, and then being in such a space that you picked up on that vibe.
It's like they
go ahead.
Yeah, I picked up on that vibe, and all of a sudden they've like somehow somewhat possessed me, and all of a sudden I'm drowning the way they did.
Right. Exactly.
Now, and all of a sudden I'm like, nah, that's it. I got to get out of here.
Well, I don't blame you, man. That would be horrible. I've almost drowned myself a couple times when I was younger, and I'm here to tell you, it's a pretty frantic feeling. Yeah. It's pretty desperate.
I'm pretty sure I inhaled some water too.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I just swim where I can touch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the way it is for me. I've experienced close to drowning more than once.
Okay.
And listen, if I can't feel the bottom, I'm getting out of that spot.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. And it could be any number of things. I mean, it just could be maybe it's possible it's a past life memory if you believe in that kind of thing. Who knows?
And I was told later on that area where I was swimming in gets down to about 16 meters deep.
Oh, wow.
I'm only 6 foot deep.
Wow.
I'm not even 2 meters. So, yeah, it was pretty deep.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you made it out of that okay. That's absolutely terrifying. Wow.
Yeah. So like it's like a strange sense of deja vu. It's like, shit, I've been here before, but at the same time, I don't remember swimming here.
Huh.
It's like same people. Probably the dogs are a bit different, but because one of the dogs that would have been with us died years ago.
Oh.
But I was just looking around, it's like, hang on.
Wow.
It took me a while to catch my breath afterwards, of course. So it's like I had a panic attack or something, but at the same time, it's like, why on earth did I have a panic attack?
Yeah, that's a lot to carry, brother. I mean, that's huge.
Deja vu and some kind of panic attack over nothing. It's just like, really?
Yeah. Huh. Well,
I consider myself an all right swimmer. I can swim and save my life, but at the same time, I was not expecting that to happen out of the blue like that. And it's like, what the hell? What the hell has grabbed hold of me?
Yeah.
Wow. Apart from that, almost going under a couple of times. Well, I did go under, but apart from that, almost drowning. That sense of deja vu is like, why do I keep getting this deja vu feeling?
Yeah.
Like when I was up north, but deja vu there. Like everywhere I've gone, I've had a sense of deja vu like I've been there before. Yeah, I haven't.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I think you might be tapping into some ability you didn't know you had.
Maybe some kind of premonition that I've totally forgotten about, and it's like deja vu.
Yeah, that could be, right? I mean, if maybe you're getting things while you're sleeping, experiencing things, you're not remembering it, but then when they happen in real life, you're like, oh yeah, this seems really familiar. Wow.
I reckon so. I reckon so.
Well, I'm sure glad you
Anyway,
made it.
like I said, it happened about a week ago when it was like a really hot day, like 37 degrees centigrade.
Wow. Well,
It was pretty warm.
I'm sure glad you pulled through it, buddy. That's insane. I can't imagine, what it would be like. I do know what it's like to almost drown, but I don't know. It's been a lot of years. I don't know if I'd have the ability to pull out of it now. I'm not in as good shape as I was as a little kid. So wow, Yeesh, be careful, man.
I've never been in good shape. I've always been skinny as. So I'm probably pretty light. So that's probably what saved me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then you can probably just suck in some air and just bob on the water.
Yeah, just got to make sure I suck in the air when I'm not below the water.
Yeah, make sure it's air that you're sucking. That's for sure. But yeah, man.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure I inhaled some water because for at least a day or two afterwards, I had trouble breathing. So I'm pretty sure I inhaled some water.
Oh man, yeah, that's scary stuff. Oh, be careful, man. Be careful.
Oh, and I'm not sure if it's paranormal, but last night, I went to sleep at one point. It might have been sleep paralysis or something, but at one point I woke up and it felt like something again was on my chest, like someone had hold of me. It's like I've somehow got attachment from somewhere, and it's like it's trying to kill me.
Uh-oh. Well, be careful with that. Definitely. Can you cleanse or get some cleansing done, or somebody to look at that for you?
Yeah, I gotta get some sage. I definitely gotta get some sage.
Yeah.
Problem is, where do I get it from? There's like so many places. It's like they sell the incense sticks, but not the actual sage. So it's probably not pure sage or anything,
Yeah, it probably has some in there, but it certainly wouldn't be pure. But if you can, you should maybe give Deb a call, get a hold of her, and have her look into this for you, because if there is something tagging along with you, you definitely don't want that happening.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get rid of the negative stuff, and all of a sudden I've got this thing doing this to me. It's like it's stuffed.
Yeah, well, it might be the fact that you are getting rid of some stuff, that maybe that's why it's getting more intense, is because whatever it is doesn't like you getting rid of all that negative.
It doesn't want to go, and it's like, no, I'm not letting it go. Feel that's it. Yep. You're gonna get rid of me. I'm gonna take you down with them.
Right, exactly.
Literally nearly dead in the water.
Yeah. So stick to the wading pools until you get this all cleansed, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's great to hear from you, brother. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing your experiences.
Yeah, that was the most recent one I had. I figured, better tell you about it. So.
Well, I appreciate it.
I'll call in next time I have a paranormal experience.
Okay, brother. We'll be here waiting for you.
Righto.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know, man. I do remember what it's like. It starts off when I was drowning. I was a little kid, and it starts off and you're panicking. It's just such a horrible panic, and once that panic sets in, you're really screwed, because to swim takes a coordination. There's a rhythm to it, and once you start flailing and panicking, you're fighting yourself, because one hand's going down, the other one's pulling up, so you got alternating currents fighting against each other. You're not making any progress, and it's just a state of you're not thinking clearly, and and then you're burning up your oxygen so quickly because you're panicking, and it's just such a horrible thing. But I came up and went down twice, and was about to go down the third time, and it was that sensation of suddenly it felt like I was watching someone else do it instead. It was like I wasn't quite a part of it anymore. And so I don't know if maybe that's the way it feels to separate from yourself. And, if you're in a situation like you're probably going to die, do you kind of separate? And then it takes that fear away and all that horrible panic away. And it's weird. It's like, it's almost peaceful, and it's really hard to explain, but that was my experience. It was like I was frantic. I was just trying so hard to get out of the water and to do something. And And like I said, I was fighting myself as much as anything because I'm just pulling and pushing and, flailing, just trying to get anywhere to get some air. And, and then it was just like suddenly it was like, huh. And you almost I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like I said, you're watching someone else do it. And it's the most curious thing. And then, of course, my mom grabbed me and got me. I was only like 8 at the time, and we're swimming off of a fishing boat in the mighty Mississippi River, which was a pool of filth all on its own. But that's where I grew up, and that might be the reason for the way that I am. But it was my mom finally got the oar to me so I could grab onto it. But it was intense. Or she grabbed onto me. She got the oar out, and I think I managed to like flail and hit part of it and come up, and then she was able to grab me or something. But man, I'll tell you, I coughed. I swear to God, I coughed for days. I know exactly what he's talking about with feeling like you've got water in your lungs because it takes a long time to clear that out. And then it's Mississippi water on top of that. Which I don't know why I'm still alive, to be honest with you. It's like a petri dish. But anyway. It was a pretty wild experience, a pretty terrifying experience. I don't think I swam for the rest of that whole summer. I wouldn't go near the water. I was terrified. It took a long time to get me back into it, but like everything else, being a kid and being raised on the lakefront, sooner or later I had to overcome that and get back in the water, and we did. I did, and it turned out okay, but that was definitely terrifying. So I can relate. It's a weird thing. So anyway, enough about me. I don't mean to make this all about me, but I hope that doesn't come off the wrong way, because I certainly don't. I don't throw in parts about me because I want it to be about me. It's just I want to try to relate some of my experience into these experiences as well, because some things you just hear and you can really relate to, and it's like, oh yeah, I know what that's like. And it becomes more of a conversation, or at least maybe I feel like I can expand the conversation with my own experiences. But, plenty of other times, I have no basis to relate to a lot of what people call in about, and I'm just sitting here open-jawed. But on the ones I do, I like to contribute that, and I hope it doesn't come across the wrong way, because I definitely have never wanted the portal to be about me. So I'm hoping that conveys itself into the message and into the show, because I don't need a me party. I just love doing the shows and being a part of the discussion. All right. So the next story is coming from Louisiana, and this one is as follows. It has to do with Ouija boards, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most highly charged subjects I think we ever cover on these ghostly shows, whether it's the Night Terrors or other shows where we talk about paranormal phenomena. Of course, the Ouija board always comes up. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Ouija board, that's a Satan board. That's, don't use it. It's nothing but trouble. And you might be right. But I personally don't believe that the boards in and of themselves are anything. They're just a tool. It's like, and what I've related it to in the past is like, it's like a hammer. You have a hammer, and you can use it. If you use it appropriately, you can do cool things with it. And you can make a porch. You can build a part of your house. You can repair. You can, craft and do some great things. If you don't know what you're doing with it, or if you use it improperly, you can, beat someone to death with it. You could do some horrible things with it. And I think it's a lot the same for tools like a Ouija board. It's an oracle. But what I think makes it dangerous is that people use it and they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand there are time-honored principles and observations that go into effect when you're in the esoteric and dealing with those kind of practices. That there are methodologies and steps that should be taken that can certainly make it a positive experience, and if they're ignored, could definitely encourage negative experiences. And I think that that's the problem. So things like the Ouija board are packaged in a game box, says for ages 8 and up, and it's basically slumber party fodder for little kids. And most people will use them and never have anything happen, or have just very little happen and nothing horrible or malevolent or terrible. just a lot of spook fests and, scream fests and giggles and, the end. But some people will use it and they'll touch something really dark and they won't know that it's coming. They won't know what to do about it when it happens because they have never been taught. Anytime you're touching and possibly messing with something that could be dark, there's all kinds of things that you have to bear in mind and consideration before doing that. There's observations, there's cleansings, there's setting the environment, there's tuning yourself and clearing yourself before you enter into something like that. And there's a reason that let's say adepts don't run in and start summoning demons because they're not capable of it. They don't know all of the dangers and all of the practices that need to be observed to do that in a safer manner. And I don't mean that it's ever a good idea to summon a demon, but I'm just using that as a wild example of something that you wouldn't go in and on your first day start doing. You have to learn how to control yourself. You have to learn how to channel your energies and how to keep your space clear and how to protect yourself. And I'm not saying Ouija boards are bad or are horrible in and of themselves. They're just a tool. People misusing them or not knowing what the hell they're doing is where it comes as a problem, and where it's very easy to misuse them, because you're only given a few instructions. Here's the board, here's the planchette. Everybody sit around, touch it, don't take your hands off, and ask questions, and maybe something mysterious will happen. And it's marketed like a game, but it's not. And the problem is in what makes it extra risky to me is that using a Ouija board is creating a blind channel. You're setting yourself up as the conduit for something to come through, work through you, and communicate through the board. But you don't know what the hell that is, and you don't know what its intentions are. And you're asking it, is anybody here? Come talk to us. And basically, that's a permission. You're opening a wide door saying, come through me and make this thing move that I'm touching. Use my energy. And so you've automatically opened the door to something that could be dark and nefarious. And then that's a tough door to close. So that's my caveat speech about Ouija boards. Take it or leave it. It's up to you. But those are the things that occur to me. But this story is coming from Louisiana. It says, ever since my birthday party in '06, things have never been the same at my aunt's house. That's the most likely my fault because I pulled out a Ouija board. We were all being stupid with it and asking dumb kid questions. And then we got to the topic of how many people were in the room. 5 girls, an answer of 6. That whole night, no one wanted to walk in front of the windows or go anywhere alone. We all thought it was our imagination since we were kids, but about 5 months later, I was pretty sure there was something else here. One day in August, my grandmother went to the hospital for a falling accident. One of my best friends and I had called 911 and got her to the hospital. My aunt told us to stay at home until Gypsy, my friend, Gypsy's, who was my friend, her mom picked us up. Her mom couldn't come until about 8, so we hung around the house. About 7, I started packing my stuff up to go sleep over at her house. Just as Gypsy walked into my dining room, she screamed. I thought it was a bug because we had a bad roach problem in my house. I went to the dining room to check on her, and all of a sudden, a small black figure darted out of the dining room into the kitchen. Scared to death, we grabbed my stuff and sat on the front porch until Gypsy's mom picked us up. Ever since then, no one likes to spend the night at my house, and I don't get up in the middle of the night. The other problem is, of course, closing a session. Just dragging a piece of plastic over goodbye is not really closing a session. Whatever you open, you have to be able to shut. Otherwise, it just stays open. But yeah, creepy story. What was this? Oh, I did skip one, didn't I? Okay. So that was a different one. Here's a story from Rhode Island. Has to do with apparitions, voices, and touches. Real quick story. Says, I moved to a new apartment in a different state. A couple of nights I'd hear a man's voice calling my name. Twice this happened at 3 a.m. And after that, I woke up every day for 3 months at the same time. I'm not the kind of person that when I go to bed, I don't wake up until the alarm clock rings. It could thunder and I wouldn't even wake up. And then I start to find things missing and appear in places that I don't normally put them. Well, I used to say out loud, who are you? What do you want? Do you need anything? I can't help you if you don't tell me. I spoke about this to a local priest and told him my situation. I asked him if he could come by and bless my apartment. Well, after the blessing of my apartment, he told me it was a mischievous ghost, harmless, and it has been 4 months and I haven't had any problem until last Saturday at 6:30 p.m. or a.m. rather. I heard my name being called twice. May I say that I live in a 3-story apartment building on the 3rd floor. Second floor has been empty since before I moved in, and the first floor tenants were away for the weekend. Well, I got up and checked the door, and out the window, no one was around. I'm not afraid. I just don't like to be called when no one is answering me. And so far, nothing else has happened. Now, that's creepy. This is something I learned not too long ago just doing the show. We got another call here. But is that if you ever hear your voice, your name being called, and you know nobody's there to call it, don't answer. I don't know, superstition or not, you be the judge, but that's something I've learned on the show. Old superstitions, I guess. And this is area code 410. You're on the air.
Hey, Brent, how's it going?
Good. How you doing? Who are we talking to?
I'm doing pretty good. This is Matthew, a.k.a. Android Purity, called back a couple weeks ago about the story in my backyard with the glowing and the soldier and everything.
Yes.
Civil War.
Uh-huh.
So I got something for you. You might be interested. I posted, I think it was yesterday, on your fans group, your group fans account on there on Facebook.
Okay.
I have a kind of an orb-looking thing that my parents' security cam caught, so I thought you might be interested in. It was caught, I think back in May, just to get other people's opinions on it. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not sure what it is, but
let me see.
I thought it was interesting, so I thought I'd share that if you have access to view that.
Yeah, we do. Which one did you post here? I'm looking through the postings. Which date?
I think it's the Portal fans group. It's got 100 and some members or so.
Oh, here it is. Yep. It's the Ring. It looks like a Ring camera capture.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Let me pull this up here. I'll get it up and we'll drag it over and let everybody see. All right, hold on a sec.
Sure.
And we'll play it for everybody, and you guys can tell me first of all what it is that we're looking at as we're watching this.
Yeah, just take notice on the first few seconds on the left near the table. You'll see it.
Over here. Okay, I'm circling above the table. Okay, it's playing. There it is, an orb coming towards the camera. Yep. And then dissipating.
Yep, that was it. Just a few seconds. Now, they've had that camera there for many months, and usually when I see something like that on the internet, somebody posts something like that, I think immediately. I mean, you can tell it's not a bug because it's not moving erratically.
Right.
But usually you write stuff off like that as maybe dust or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that kind of gives it credibility to me is that I thought it's interesting that they have that camera there for they've lived in that house for almost a year now. They bought that house,
mm-hmm.
I think, beginning of last summer, or maybe a few months before, beginning of last spring, actually.
Okay.
And they had that camera there pretty much ever since then. It's never caught anything like that before. And it's one of those motion sensing cameras, so it must have sensed motion in 1 or 2 seconds, before that thing had appeared. And they've never picked up anything else on that camera ever since then or ever before then. So I thought that was interesting piece of evidence or piece of information to know for that video because, if that kind of camera picks up dust like that, you would think you would see it other times on that camera,
Sure, yeah. Now, is there any activity in the house that you're aware of, or has it been a pretty quiet house?
Yeah, they said they've never experienced anything themselves. And so that's kind of strange. And one other thing I thought was kind of an interesting little tidbit, if you look at the timestamp in the lower right corner, it's actually 3 a.m., the witching hour.
Oh, you're right. It is, yeah. 3:02.
Isn't that interesting?
That is actually, and ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with that, and most paranormal investigators will tell you, 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. is like the hotspot time. That's when a lot of paranormal activity hops off and is real common. Yeah, that is really wild. If they're not noticing any problems and stuff, that's good. It definitely could be something. Those kind of flares like that are real hard to substantiate in and of themselves. But I guess
I agree. And what the funny thing is remember when I told you my experience in my backyard?
Yes.
And it was kind of an orb-like thing. See, in that video, it's kind of a translucent type glowing ball thing. But in my experience, I mean, if I would have been able to get that on camera back in like whenever it was, 2007, 2008,
yes.
Camera phones were terrible back then. But if I had, today's smartphone back then, it would have been basically just a ball of pure white. It was so bright.
Right.
And I know a lot of people, I've even heard professionals say they don't really believe in orbs.
Right.
And I kind of agree with that to a certain degree. I think because, they get bad reputation from all the videos on the internet and stuff. But
right.
I don't know if I would call mine an orb, though, because it wasn't floating or moving. It just was in one spot. And for those who are listening, maybe didn't hear the story generally, summary of the story is I went out back, heard footsteps in the woods. And right after the footsteps, a bright light appeared. And it's like weird, like a light like I never seen before. It was just pure white, super bright. And one weird thing I didn't mention in this story last time was that it didn't like illuminate the woods around it. It just illuminated like the immediate area right underneath it, maybe like 1 foot around it. It's weird. You would think a super bright object would light really far in the pitch dark woods, but it was just that one area was like illuminating around it.
Wow.
And then it kind of had like a blue glow around it. And so I thought that was interesting. And so I try to, every time I see these videos, trying to compare it to what I experienced that one time.
Yeah.
So I thought that I just wanted to make that connection too.
Absolutely. I mean, it's suspect for sure, but is it in and of itself proof? No, but it is an interesting thing. And,
right.
And the other thing that's interesting is that, if the house, obviously they keep this house very clean, just looking at it. I mean, it looks very orderly and like they're not, there's not cobwebs and dust bunnies all over the place. Looks like they take
right. She's retired, so my mother's retired, so she keeps the house pretty clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it was dusty, like I was saying before, you would think other days or other nights you would see,
right.
That same occurrence, but they've never had it happen since then.
Right.
And there's only one other family that lived in the house before, and it's not a super old house, maybe a 15-year-old house or something.
Okay.
But actually, she had mentioned to me something might have happened to this time. She thinks while the previous family lived there, she thinks that the son passed away, but she doesn't know why exactly, and she doesn't know if he passed away in the house or not.
Okay. Yeah.
So
it's definitely peculiar, and it's a great capture. It's one of those things. There's not a lot to it, but it's interesting for sure. And I sure appreciate you posting that.
Absolutely. No problem. I just thought I'd share it because I know you like to see those videos. So
yes.
For everybody to see.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. And it's great to hear from you, Matthew. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Enjoying the show. Keep it up, man.
All right. Thanks, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks. You too.
Very cool. So that's another great participation is when you guys have these images. And every once in a while I get a video. Not real common that we get videos sent in, but we've had some good ones over the years. There's one that I received that looks like one of those fairy bugs. And it's one of those that looks like it has legs and arms and then wings. But it's insect-like, but it was in somebody's garage. And I thought that was really interesting. I'll have to dig those up sometime and show you guys again. We certainly showed it on the show in the past, but this is another one that's really, really interesting and really good to talk about. And again, it's not proof of something paranormal, but it is suspect, or it's at least interesting. And it does give us an opportunity to discuss this kind of stuff because there's a lot of videos out there, and there's a lot of people that are trying to sell you cobwebs as ghostly presences. Now, there's also a lot of really good ones out there. And I think the more people have these kind of camera systems installed, the more of this kind of stuff we're going to see captured and brought to the table. And, you know, some of it can be explained away, but others of it just can't. And, you know, I'm sure somebody would explain it away somehow. But, you know, at some point, if people are having these experiences, and if you believe that people are having these experiences, then you have to believe at least some of these videos could be very well legit. You know, not all of them, and maybe not even many of them, but some of them. And so, you know, this is certainly an interesting one, and it's a great opportunity to discuss the whole idea of security cameras and ghostly experiences, because it can certainly help to substantiate hauntings. It can also make people afraid when they don't really know what they're looking at, when they have no reason to be, because it could be just a cobweb swinging gently in a vent, or, you know, just there's always air currents moving around us in our homes and stuff. And inside of a home, it's going to be much more subtle, but there's air currents anywhere you're moving. If you move in your house, you're creating air currents in the entire place to some degree, because it creates pressures, and, you know, and air will always move to balance. And so, and then if you have any leaks or anything else, you've got air currents. And so there's all kinds of reasons that something might move that you might not think it would. Certainly dust is a huge contributor to these kind of images, because there's dust everywhere. But now the interesting thing is, in this video particularly that we just watched, it's one. You know, if you've got dust, you're going to see others. You're going to see other things, and those are certainly kind of explain themselves. Then, when you see, you know, different little glowy orbs go in different directions, chances are you don't have a house full of spirits. You just got some dust that got kicked up from something. And it could even be something as stupid as like a fly got too close and kicked up some dust, and that's now is floating into your, you know, in your air currents. So there's lots of reasons those kind of things can be captured, but some of them can actually be legitimate. And this one is interesting in that it's one. I don't know how you just get one dust orb kicked up and just one dust orb to capture itself on a camera. So that is a more peculiar aspect of it. If it was several, you know, I would be more apt to say, yeah, it's just dust by the camera catching that infrared light. Being so close to the lens, it creates a spherical, translucent ball. But this is just one. So that's a little harder to quantify as just dust. But anyway, it is interesting nonetheless. And thank you again. I really appreciate you sending this in, Matt. That's really cool. And thanks for the participation on our fans page. That was set up by Cha-Cha, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're a fan of the show, you can definitely head over to facebook.com. I don't know what the exact URL is, but just search for Paranormal Portal fans and you'll find the page. There's just tell, you know, put that you want to join, and there's a couple of questions, but, you know, obviously we don't want just any clown to get in there, or any bots. There's all kinds of those on Facebook. So the questions are kind of a necessary thing, and there's nothing real painful you got to answer. We're not asking for your bank account number or anything on there. Just a little bit about yourself. So anyway, very cool. I appreciate that. Contribution to tonight's fair. How we doing? 7:53. Oh my God. I got about time for one more story here, maybe two. This one we just read. This is the ghost calling the name. Let's see. This one is a lot longer. I guess I could maybe, let me check the next one. Yeah, I could do two shorter ones. Is this last one shorter too? Yeah. Okay. I'll do this one. This is coming from Florida. It has to do with haunted places. It says this story takes place in Jacksonville, Florida. I was around 9 to 11 years old. Not sure which age, but in higher elementary school anyway. We just moved into a new house, maybe 10 minutes away from a cemetery, and the events I'm about to tell you, I thought were caused by that, but later found out another shocking truth. The first thing that creeped me out about this house once we moved in was that the room I was to sleep in was covered in bees. Jeez. Oh, God. One of my greatest fears. The entire floor was covered in bees. Closet, the window panes, the shelves in the closet, everywhere, with me being terrified of bees. I didn't want to touch them, so my mom and grandmother went in and cleaned them up and inspected the room for a hive or a broken window, but nothing. Yeah, it's like the classic horror movie. Somebody opens their mouth and all these bees fly out. Then I figured everything was fine, but about 2 months later, the bees returned. You can imagine how terrified I was to come home from school and to find my room covered in bees again. This time they were in the bed, especially my pillow, underneath it, my closet, the windows again, and the shelves. This time my mom further inspected the room, still to find a heaping pile of nothing. This is the last time I saw bees in my room, but after the following events, I would have gladly come home to bees every day. About a month or so after the bee incident, I was laying in bed, about to fall asleep, when something said, "Look up at the ceiling." Well, I reluctantly looked up and what I saw was absolutely horrifying. I saw a devil or demon-like creature with a pointed tail. Next to him was a man he was knelt down with a bowed head. And when the devil demon took a trident and began stabbing at the man, he looked to be in so much pain. The devil/demon laughed, and I closed my eyes hoping it would be over. But when I opened them, the poor man was still being tortured. I ran to tell my mom, and she just said, "Go back to sleep." Oh my God, really? Oh, that poor kid, God. I went back to my room and prayed until I did fall asleep. A few nights later, my brother claimed the face of the devil was at his window. I went in to see, and sure enough, there was a face imprinted in the glass, like it was somehow in the middle of the plate, neither inside nor out. Now, whether it was the devil or not, I can't say, but I can tell you there was no good in it. A few weeks after that, our microwave began to go off at exactly 3:15 a.m. every morning. The first night, I heard it through my sleep. I woke up and went to see what it was, and when I looked, there was no food in the microwave, nor was there anyone in the kitchen. I also noticed that while the microwave was going, the time was stuck on 6:06. It never went lower. That's a horrible situation. Later that night, I woke up to use the bathroom, and as I walked out of my room into the hall, I saw a woman standing in the hall, and she was dressed in an attire from the 1800s. She had very long dead nails and was reading out of a brown leather-bound book and whispered to herself while pointing at me. I then realized she was a witch reading from her spell book. I was frozen out of fear. I went to tell my mom, but she didn't believe me. Oh, the poor kid, all alone. It wasn't until my mom actually witnessed things in the house that she started listening to my brother and me. For instance, my mom woke up one night and saw a woman standing in the bed over her. Then one night after work, she saw another woman in her bedroom window between the curtains and the window as if she was expecting someone to come home. Then she started to hear the microwave at night, and after this she decided to talk to the neighbors and ask if they knew anything going on at the house. Well, all the neighbors had the same story. The woman who lived there before you used to sit on the porch in the dark of night and practice witchcraft. She also held Ouija parties, it says Ouija, parties at her house, as well as practicing black magic in the backyard. Wonder how people know it's black magic. I wonder how they know that. After hearing this and being a Christian woman that my mother was, rest her soul, she decided that the house was no place for her nor her children. I think we stayed in that house for maybe 6 to 8 months tops. And to this day, I can still see beings from the other side, and I also hear things that aren't there or that others cannot hear as well as see. I also have very vivid dreams of people being hurt by evil beings. Jeez. I don't know, man. That's horrible, horrible, horrible stuff. Wow, poor kid. That's something you just can't get rid of. Wow. That's a house that definitely needs an exorcism. The whole bees thing is just horrid. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it looked like. I know what it sounds like. It sounds like there's a carpet of dead bees everywhere. And I don't, unless you got a nest, I don't know how that's even possible. So if you're not finding a nest, you've got a problem in your house. Bees or flies or whatever. Eesh. All right. That's that story. I think this is probably a good place to call it a night. We are literally 1 minute before 8 p.m. So that's about all I got for you. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I really appreciate you guys being here with me. It's always a great pleasure to be here doing the shows. It's always a even bigger pleasure to look and see that so many of you are here with me. I really appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, please get subscribed. Please hit the notification bell so you know when we're live. But if you want to know when we're live, just know that we broadcast Wednesday through Sunday nights right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to check out more of the live shows, that's when you'll do it. Tomorrow night is 2 hours. Saturday night is 2 hours. Sunday night will be another one of these night terrors. So, and then 2 days off. But we also have a podcast. If you're unfamiliar with that, that is available on iHeart, iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, Stitcher, Castbox, Google Play, etc., etc. So everywhere out there, we're out there too. Just do a search for Paranormal Portal. If you're listening on iTunes or if you're listening on Stitcher, please give us a review if you would, please. That really helps us a bunch, especially on Stitcher. We're newer to Stitcher, so we don't have nearly the reviews there to help people to see. Because I know a lot of people use reviews when they're looking at new podcasts. Like, well, I don't know if I want to waste my time. I don't know if I want to, just check it out. I got these other ones I already listened to, and they're good. So by leaving reviews, you're definitely giving us a huge boost in people being willing to check out the shows. So I hope you'll do that if you do like the shows. If you don't like the shows, then never mind. But it definitely helps us out a ton. And if you want to help us out, that's a great way to do it. Please take these videos from YouTube, share them on your social media. If there's an episode that you particularly like or an interview that we did that you like, share it, put it out on your Facebook page or whatever. That's perfectly fine with me. It helps us a ton to spread the word. And that's the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about you guys. And you guys have made this show what it is today, and you're making what it will be tomorrow, just by your continued love and support. So thank you all for that. And we are absolutely humbled and honored to have that love and support. So that's all I got for you. I hope you guys had a good time. I enjoyed doing it. Again, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, I'll be back. And I'll give you 2 full hours of this Paranormal Portal fun. So I hope you'll join me then. The call lines will be open. If you got something you want to share, please call me and be a part of those shows too. I don't think I got anybody lined up tomorrow night. It's just me. So if you want to call in and be a part of the show, I'd love to hear from you. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's all I got. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much again. But just always know that I love you all. Please be good, be kind, be nice. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. And always remember, sweet dreams.